And here are some strategies that you can use starting today to make the most out of your investment portfolio during this crisis. What's up everyone, David here and welcome back to Free to Be. And in today's video, I want to discuss with you some of the tips and strategies that I've started using and implementing in my investment approach. Specifically, given the volatility in the market, there's some things that you can do now to basically secure yourself long term. And if you have some extra money, these are some great tips to implement within your own investment outlook. So definitely stay tuned for the entire video because there's going to be some tips and strategies in here that could be valuable to you. Now, before we get started, as always, if you're new to the channel, please take a moment and click the subscribe button down below. We cover financial literacy on this channel, and in doing so, I hope to basically outline my path to financial independence and help you build a guide, basically build a blueprint for you to use, others to use, and just provide you with general good information. And I like to also showcase my creativity on here from time to time, so definitely hit the subscribe button if you haven't done so already. Now, if you're not new, thanks again for joining me for another video. Your support does really mean a lot to me and the channel, so thank you for coming back. Okay, so basically we are now in the second month of this quarantine, self-isolating, social distancing routine. And what has happened is the markets, stock markets have been particularly volatile during this time, which has caused a lot of people to panic and change up their investment strategies. Now, during this period, this past 2 months, I've actually been able to save a lot more money than I had the 2 months before that. And that's because a lot of the expenses that went into my day-to-day life, a lot of the frivolous spending has kind of been cut out, right? I don't eat out as much. The transportation costs in terms of commuting to work, that's gone down to zero basically. I don't, splurge on the occasional cup of coffee or going out to lunch or the random weekend trips to Target or the mall to spend, some extra cash here and there. So I've actually been able to save a little bit of extra money every single week that we've been in this social distancing mode. Now, what I've done with that extra money is basically taken it and put it into my investment portfolio. And what I've done is I've done some research on some companies that have been here a long time prior to this pandemic and probably will be here long after this pandemic is over. And I've kind of done some research on those, hedged my bets a little bit and invested accordingly. And you guys can do the same thing too. So the first thing you're gonna wanna do is open up a brokerage account if you don't have one already. And a great one to do that with is Robinhood. I'll drop a link down below, but basically it is an online investment tool that you can use to purchase stocks, cryptocurrencies, options, and other things like this. And the best part about it is that there is no cost in terms of transactions. So $0 transactions mean you can buy as little as 1 share at a time if you'd like. And again, if you don't have that account, I'll drop the link down below. Sign up using that link and I believe you'll get a free stock in doing that. And who doesn't like free stuff? So what I've done is basically, let's say I've saved about $150 extra every single week. On the Monday of that given week, I will transfer that $150 over to my Robinhood account. And then I'll start doing some research in terms of where the stocks are for specific industries. Particularly, I've been looking a lot at cruise lines and airlines because I think both of these will recover, whether it's with government assistance or on their own. Within the next few years, these things will be back to where they were prior to this pandemic. So some of the stocks that I've been looking at is, for example, Norwegian cruise lines, Royal Caribbean cruise lines. You can look at American Airlines. Here are some industries that were strong. They were very strong before this happened and will probably return to that, exact same position after this is over. And invest a little bit every single week in these industries, right? Or you can look at specific products that are, really doing well during this time, whether it is technology products or, home essential type things. Look into some of those brands, right? Clorox, you can look at any of the toilet paper manufacturers. If you can find out who the parent company is and if they're publicly traded, invest in them. These are great things that'll be here long after this is all over. So it's also a great way to invest right now because you're gonna get a great deal. So now, for example, Royal Caribbean is one of the investments that I have made over the past few weeks. And when I bought them, they had hit a low of right around $22 a share. Now, if you've been following Royal Caribbean, you know that they were as high as almost $140 in January of this year. So buying it at $22 is basically buying it at a seventh of the value that it was before. Meaning that even if it doesn't get back to the 140, if it even gets back to like, let's say 100, I'm 5 timesing the investment that I initially made at $22. Now, as of Friday the markets were closed, but as of Thursday, I think Royal Caribbean was somewhere around 40. So I basically already doubled my investment. And you can still find plenty of opportunities like that as well. You just have to do a little bit of research and understand how the market has been working, what are the industries that have been hardest hit, and which ones are most likely to rebound. Now, do I think that every single cruise line out there will rebound from this? Probably not. There's gonna be ones that fold, but some of the bigger ones I think will be there. So you can look like, again, Royal Caribbean is a big one. US uses that a lot. Norwegian is huge international presence. So those are two that I pick basically, but you can do the same thing and see which ones you think will last beyond all this. And basically you're betting on the horse that you think will outlast all the others. So invest smart and make sure you do your research and invest in little increments just so you're comfortable with doing that. But the hope is that whatever you invest now will be 5 times, 10 times that value, 2, 3, 4 years from now, which will put you in a lot better financial position at that time. And so basically that's what I'm doing right now. I'm taking any extra kind of income I have while I still have an income, and I understand that I'm fortunate enough to still have an income. I know a lot of people are facing hardships, and that's understandable. I'm not saying to take out of any cash reserve. Make sure you have enough of a cash reserve in place so that in such emergencies like we're facing right now, you can dig into that if you need to before you start investing. Don't just go and take all the cash out of your emergency fund and dump it into your Robinhood account and start buying stocks. I do not advise that at all. Take everything I'm saying with a grain of salt. Make sure you do your own research. But from my perspective, I would not be touching my cash reserves, and I'm actually not touching my cash reserves doing this. This is just all extra money that I've been able to save while we've been in this social distancing mode. And like I said, doing it via an app like Robinhood where there's $0 transactions, that it's easy to do. Basically, you just pick up the app, make your purchases right away, real time. You can transfer real time. So all of that has been making it a lot easier to go ahead and invest. And then eventually I'll move it over. I do have a few brokerage accounts, so I can move it over eventually and transfer those shares that I've bought over this period of time over to my bigger account and keep it there for a long-term hold. So with that said, it's definitely a time to really evaluate your portfolio, evaluate your investments, and any extra cash that you have during this time. Think about the long term. Think about where you want to be 5 years from now, 10 years from now. Do the research and invest accordingly. Again, make sure you have the cash reserve in place, and then the extra money can be rolled into your investments, your long-term investments. And so one more time, if you don't have a Robinhood account, go ahead and click the link down below. It'll give you a free stock for signing up. It is my affiliate link, so I do want to put that out there. But again, by clicking that link, by signing up using that link, you'll get a free share once you make your first transaction. All right, guys, well, I hope that everyone's staying safe. I hope that everyone is staying healthy during this time. Don't forget to wash your hands. That's all I have for this video. If you enjoyed this content, let me know in the comments down below. Don't forget to give me a thumbs up, and we'll see you next time.